look at it. Go ahead, reach into your pocket or your purse right now and take it out. I want you to hold it in your hand. Feel the weight of it. That little rectangle of plastic, or maybe if you are one of the fancy rats, a heavy piece of metal. It feels cool to the touch, does it not? It feels like power. It feels like access. You look at that logo, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and you see a key that unlocks the world. You see that chip, and you think about the dinner you just bought, the vacation you just booked, the new clothes that are sitting in your closet with the tags still on them. You think you are the master of your destiny because you can tap that little card on a terminal and walk away with goods and services without seeing a single dollar leave your bank account in that moment. But listen to me, and listen closely, because I am about to shatter your reality. You are not holding a key. You are holding a shackle. You are holding a digitally encoded, high-frequency tracking device that connects you directly to the mainframe of the Matrix, designed specifically to drain the life force out of you drop by single drop. You are looking at the modern equivalent of a ball and chain, but instead of iron, it is made of 25% annual percentage rate interest and the pathetic, desperate hope for airline miles. Welcome to the slaughterhouse. You think you are the customer? You think the bank works for you? You are the product. Actually, no. You are worse than the product. You are the livestock. You are the financial cattle grazing in a field of artificial grass, chewing on the cud of minimum payments, waiting to be milked until you are dry and then slaughtered when you can no longer produce yield. I look around at this society, this sickening display of the rat race, and I see millions of people walking around with invisible leashes around their necks, handed to them by smiling bankers in suits who call it financial freedom. It is laughable. It is a tragedy of epic proportions. You are drowning in a sea of debt, gasping for air, and instead of throwing you a life preserver, the system throws you an anchor painted gold and tells you it is a trophy. Let's talk about the scene of the crime. I see it every single day. I walk into a restaurant, a nice place, maybe a steakhouse. I see a table of guys, young professionals. Maybe they work in tech or sales. They look successful. They have the watches. They have the fitted suits. They have the perfectly groomed beards. The bill comes. It is $400. And what happens? It is like a Pavlovian response. The hand goes to the pocket. The wallet comes out. And there it is. The flash of the card. The platinum. The sapphire reserve. The black card. They throw it down with a sense of pride. They want the table to see it. They want the waitress to feel the weight of it. They are thinking, look at me. I am a player. I have credit. I have status. But I have X-ray vision. I look at that guy, let's call him rat number one, and I don't see a rich man. I see a man who is financing a steak he digested 4 hours ago over the next 12 years. I see a man who is paying 25% interest on a bottle of wine that gave him a headache the next morning. I see a slave who has convinced himself he is a king because his cage has a slightly higher credit limit than the guy sitting next to him. This is the dissonance. This is the lie you have been fed since you turned 18, and they set up a booth on your college campus offering you a free t-shirt and a slice of pizza if you just signed your name on the dotted line. That was the moment you sold your soul. For a $5 t-shirt, that is how cheap you are to them. They bought your future for cotton and pepperoni. And now, 10 years later, 20 years later, you are still in the trap. You are playing a game where the rules are written in fine print that you never read, by lawyers who are smarter than you, for institutions that view you as a statistic. You need to understand the enemy. The bank is not your friend. The credit card company is not your travel partner. They are an extraction machine. Their entire business model is predicated on your failure. They do not want you to pay off your balance in full every month. Sure, they tolerate the deadbeats, that is what they call people who pay in full and pay no interest, but the real money, the billions of dollars in profit, comes from the revolvers. That is you. The ones who carry a balance. The ones who pay the minimum. The ones who think, oh, it is just $50 this month. I can handle that. You are walking right into the wood chipper. Let's dissect the mathematics of this brutality. And I call it bakery math, because it needs to be simple enough for a child to understand. Yet you, a grown adult, are failing at it. Let's talk about APR, annual percentage rate. You see the number 25% and your eyes glaze over. You don't internalize it. Let me explain what 25% means in the real world. It means you are bleeding. It means if you were a business, you would be bankrupt. There is no legitimate investment in the world that guarantees you a 25% return year over year with zero risk. The greatest investors in history struggle to get 20% consistently. Yet, here you are, the average rat, casually agreeing to pay 25% interest on a pair of sneakers or a new television. Let's take an example. Let's say you buy a new living room set, a nice leather sofa, a big TV, maybe a sound system. Let's say the total is $5,000. You put it on the card. You feel good. The living room looks great. You invite your friends over to watch the game. You are the man. But you don't have $5,000. If you did, you would have used cash. So you pay the minimum. The bank usually sets the minimum payment low enough to keep you on the hook forever. Usually around 2% of the balance, or maybe just the interest, plus 1%. Let's be generous and say you pay $150 a month. You think, hey, I can afford $150? This is great. I got a $5,000 living room for pocket change. You are a fool. You are mathematically illiterate. At 25% interest, paying $150 a month, do you know how long it will take you to pay off that sofa? It will take you years, decades, if the minimum drops as the balance drops. But let's keep the payment fixed. You will end up paying nearly double the price of the furniture. That $5,000 sofa actually cost you $9,000. You worked weeks, maybe months of your life, sitting in a cubicle you hate, dealing with a boss you despise, just to pay the interest to a bank so you could sit on a piece of leather that is already cracking and peeling by the time you own it. That is not a purchase. That is self-sabotage. That is you taking your life energy, your time on this earth, which is the only finite resource you have, and setting it on fire to keep the banking executives warm. And it gets worse. It is not just the math, it is the psychology. The system is designed to bypass your pain centers. When you pay with cash, when you count out $100 bills, your brain registers pain. It feels like a loss. You hesitate. You think, do I really need this? But the card? The card is frictionless. It is dopamine without that hangover until the statement arrives. They have gamified your destruction. They gave you a credit score. Oh, how I hate that term. You people obsess over your credit score like it is a measure of your worth as a human being. Oh, I have an 800 score. I am doing so well. No, you are not. An 800 credit score just means you are a really good pet. It means you are obedient. It means you borrow money and you pay it back just enough to keep the game going. The wealthy, the truly sovereign individuals, they don't care about their credit score. They don't need to borrow money to buy a washing machine. They own assets. They have liquidity. A credit score is a leash rating for the working class. It is a badge of honor for the premium poor. Let's talk about that term, the premium poor. This is who the credit card industry targets. You make decent money. Maybe you make $100,000 a year, maybe even $200,000, but you are broke. You have zero net worth. Why? Because you are leveraging your future income to buy a lifestyle you cannot afford today. You are wearing a Rolex on a wrist that is shackled to debt. You are driving a BMW that belongs to the bank. You are living in a house where you rent the walls from the mortgage company. And the glue holding this entire house of cards together is that little plastic rectangle with the 25% APR. You tell yourself lies to justify it. But the points! I do it for the points. This is the most pathetic excuse of all. You are telling me you spent $50,000 on consumer garbage, paid $5,000 in interest just to get a free flight to Florida that would have cost you $300 if you just paid cash? You are stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. You are losing at a game that is rigged against you. The rewards programs are marketing budgets. They are calculated. They know exactly how much they can give you in cash back because they know exactly how much they will extract from you in interest and merchant fees. You are not gaming the system. The system is gaming you. You are the mouse in the maze, excited because you found a crumb of cheese. Meanwhile, the scientist is watching you from above, taking notes on how fast you run towards your own demise. And what happens when the music stops? What happens when you lose that job? What happens when there is a medical emergency? What happens when the economy turns? Suddenly, that leverage turns into a noose. That 25% interest does not stop. It compounds. It grows. Like a cancer. Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. He said, "He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it." You are paying it. You are on the wrong side of the equation. You are providing the yield for someone else's retirement while destroying your own. This is toxic leverage. Real leverage is borrowing money at 4%. to buy an asset that pays you 8%. That is what the rich do. They use debt to get richer. You use debt to look richer. There is a massive difference. You are using debt to buy depreciation. You are financing decaying assets, clothes, electronics, cars, vacations, dinners. These things lose value the second you buy them. Yet the debt you took on to buy them gains value for the bank every single day. It is madness. It is insanity. If I told you to dig a hole and fill it back up for 12 hours a day, you would call me crazy. But you go to work to pay interest on things you don't even use anymore, and you call it normal life. So, look at the damage. Look at the anxiety. How many nights have you laid awake staring at the ceiling, wondering how you are going to juggle the payments? How many times have you transferred a balance from one card to another, playing a shell game with your own life, thinking you bought yourself some time? You didn't buy time. You sold it. You sold your peace of mind. You sold your sovereignty. You are a slave to the billing cycle. Your entire month is dictated by the due date. You are not working for your dreams. You are working for Visa's bottom line. Now, I know what you are thinking, but I need a credit card for emergencies. No, you don't. You need cash for emergencies. You need an emergency fund. Relying on a credit card for emergencies is like relying on a parachute made of lead. It might look like safety, but it will drag you down faster. But I need to build credit to buy a house. Listen, if you have cash, if you have manual underwriting, if you are actually wealthy, you can buy a house. And even if you play the credit score game just to get a mortgage, you do not need to carry a balance. You do not need to pay a single cent of interest to have a credit score. But you lack the discipline. That is the hard truth. You lack the discipline to use the tool without cutting your hand off. We need to talk about the exit. We need to talk about how you kill the rat inside of you that loves the shiny plastic. This is gonna hurt. It requires a level of aggression and radical honesty that most of you are too soft to handle. You have been domesticated. You have been trained to consume. Breaking that training is going to feel like withdrawal from a hard drug, because it is. Spending money you don't have is an addiction. It gives you a hit of dopamine, a temporary relief from the emptiness of your existence. The first step is a declaration of war. You have to get angry. You have to look at that statement and get furious. Not at the bank. They are just scorpions being scorpions. You have to get furious at yourself, furious at your weakness, furious at your gullibility. You have to look in the mirror and say, I have been Admitting you are a clown is the first step to taking off the makeup. Then you perform the surgery. You take the cards. Yes, the pretty ones. The ones that make you feel special. And you take a pair of scissors. Heavy-duty kitchen shears. And you cut them. You cut through the magnetic strip. You cut through the chip. You cut through the numbers. You destroy the physical manifestation of your slavery. You revert to the old ways. The debit card. The cash. If you don't have the money in your account right now, today, you cannot buy it, period. No negotiations. But I want it. Too bad. You are a toddler throwing a tantrum. Grow up. If you cannot afford it in cash, you cannot afford it. You are going to engage in the avalanche method or the snowball method. I don't care which one you pick, as long as you attack the debt with the ferocity of a starving wolf. You strip your life down to the bare essentials. You stop eating out. You stop buying clothes. You cancel the subscriptions. You live like a monk. You live like a pauper, so that one day you can live like a king. You take every spare dollar, every penny you find on the sidewalk, and you throw it at the principal balance. You attack the highest interest rate first, because that is the bleeding artery. You stop the bleeding. This is not just about money. This is about mental sovereignty. When you owe no man anything, you walk differently. Your spine is straighter. You can look your boss in the eye and say no, because you don't need his paycheck to cover the minimum payment on a jet ski you rode once 3 years ago. You become dangerous to the system because you are no longer dependent on it. A man with no debt and cash in the bank is the most powerful man in the room because he cannot be bought and he cannot be bullied. The system wants you weak. It wants you anxious. It wants you chasing the next pay period. It wants you to be a premium poor rat running on the wheel, powering the generator that lights up their skyscrapers. Are you going to keep running? Or are you going to step off? This is the pact. This is the secret handshake for those who are waking up. I want you to go to the comment section right now. I want to see who is actually listening and who is just letting this play in the background while they scroll TikTok. If you are ready to cut the chain, if you are ready to stop being livestock, I want you to type 2 words. Plastic handcuffs. Type it. Plastic handcuffs. Let the world know that you see the game for what it is. You acknowledge the prison, and by acknowledging it, you are beginning the escape. Do not let another month go by feeding the beast. Starve the bank. Feed your freedom. Kill the rat inside you today, before it eats your future alive. Get the scissors. Do it now.